with Bobby Lashley talking about retirement and another Royal Rumble return revealed. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for January 27th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. After news broke of Kevin Owens re-signing with WWE, Sami Zayn was said to have done the same. Now, in an interview with Patrick LaPrade, translated by PW Insider, Zayn opened up on his new contract, saying, "Yes, it's true. Honestly, I don't know how people on the internet find this kind of information. But yes, it's true. I just signed for a few years and I'm really happy. My contract was almost over. They were interested in me staying. I wanted to stay, so it was no more complicated than that. It's not the first time I've said it, but I'm really happy with my role with the company in recent years, especially the last year and a half. I'm doing the best job of my career, especially in terms of my character. I don't know why people were really surprised. They have an idea in their heads that everyone in WWE is unhappy being there, unhappy with their role, that they want more or feel oppressed, or I don't know what. For me, I'm really happy with my role, and I can't wait to see what I'm going to be able to do in the next few years." SmackDown would garner a lot of attention from fans when Seth Rollins made reference to the Shield with Roman Reigns and name-dropped Jon Moxley. It was later reported that this was 100% scripted, and with TalkSport, Rollins explained why this took place. "It's just an Easter egg, I think, for some of the fans that have enjoyed the Shield and stuck around, followed us for years and stuff like that. It would be very easy to tell the story of the Tribal Chief versus the Visionary. That's a simple story and obvious for those who watch on a weekly basis. But if you follow the industry and you pay attention and you know where we came from, you know there was a third guy in the mix. I'm not going to sit here and ignore that history. I'm going to bring that up because I think that's important, and I think people who care about that appreciate it. It's one of those things where it was on the tip of my tongue. It made sense, so it came." At the Royal Rumble, Rollins will be looking to become a Universal Champion when he takes on the current title holder, Roman Reigns. Making an appearance on WWE's The Bump ahead of the Royal Rumble, AJ Styles recalled his feud with John Cena, noting that he'd like another match with him. "John and I for some reason always managed to have unbelievable matches together. Was the pressure on? Most definitely. Despite that, I knew that we would be able to pull off something special, and we did. I think a lot of things that people do not realize is that during this match, we never went out of the ring. We never touched the floor. It was all done in the ring, which is a testament to John. Cena is far better than most people give him credit for. It has been a while. Well, he is kind of busy, I think. Do I want one more? Absolutely. I love competing against this guy. His drive, his passion, it's there. Listen, I don't want to blow smoke, but God, he's really good, and I enjoy being in the ring with him." Speaking of matchups for the Phenomenal One, Booker T recently took to his Hall of Fame podcast to talk about a potential bout between AJ Styles and Edge, saying, "I think that is definitely a showcase match right there. It's truly a showcase match with two eras meeting in time. It's a match that I really think could play out to where the fans watching would be totally awestruck because of the artistry of what those two men could go out and do. Edge is not the youngest talent on the roster, but his storytelling right now is second to none. It does not seem like Edge has missed a step or anything like that. You are not looking at Edge and saying, man, he shouldn't be there. Edge is like the player coach right now. He can still come off the bench and give you 25. With the Olympics set to run from February 4th to the 20th, WWE has a special Vengeance Day event set for the 15th on Sci-Fi for NXT, as Dave Meltzer gave details regarding this on Wrestling Observer Radio. WWE programming probably get hurt against the Olympics, but they're moving to Sci-Fi. Originally, it was going to be 2 weeks. The first week against the Olympics. Now, the first week, it's definitely on Sci-Fi. The second week, from what I was told, is to be determined. When I saw them announcing the NXT special, the Vengeance Day special on February 15th, I thought, God, why would you just not wait a week? Why go February 15th when you're on Sci-Fi for all those big title matches? Because it's probably going to be Braun Breaker and Escobar, and it's definitely the finals of the Dusty Cup, and probably some of the other title matches they're building up, like, you know, whatever it is with the women's title, which might be Kaylee Ray, then the women's tag title, which will be Persia Pirotta and Indy Hartwell versus JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. I'm not sure that will be on that show itself. It will be on TV in the next couple weeks, but the Dusty Cup finals and the Escobar match, I'm pretty sure are going to be February 15th. So I was thinking, like, why don't you just wait a week? But they may be on USA. With CM Punk saying not long ago that MJF was a less famous Miz, the WWE star has now responded to these comparisons, as he said this on the Ringer Wrestling podcast. I don't think he wants to be the Miz, to be honest. I don't think any superstar, no matter what company you're in, wants to be the next this person. You want to be an original. There are comparisons. I've always been compared to, I was compared to Jericho for a while. I was compared to Ric Flair for a while. I don't want to be compared. I want to be an originator. You take things. When you're learning and coming up, you see things that you like out of a certain superstar and are like, oh, I'll use that, sprinkle of that, sprinkle of this as an homage. In a sense, you want to be an original. I don't think he wants to be the next Miz. I think he wants to be the first him. Honestly, he's doing a great job at it. 25 years old. When I was 25, I was still in developmental and Deep South Wrestling and still learning the trade. I wasn't putting on matches on national television and putting together memorable promos that people talk about. I wasn't doing that. Applaud to him. When it comes to Royal Rumble returns, we can add another name to that list as Ringside News reported that the Royal Rumble will include a few returns and surprises. We have one for you. We were told that Bad Bunny will be in the Rumble this Saturday. No word on whether a WrestleMania program is coming, but we wouldn't be surprised. Speaking of pro wrestling comebacks, former AEW champion Kenny Omega has been out of action since losing his title to Hangman Page. He was said to be taking time off to deal with injuries, as he was thought to be able to make his return in March. Thanks to a COVID-19 diagnosis and subsequent side effects, that timetable is up in the air, as we'll be sure to keep you posted on this. While many know that NXT champion Braun Breaker is the son of Rick Steiner, the commentary team has not really mentioned that relation. The same can be said for Solo Sikoa, who is the brother of Jimmy and Jey Uso. Fans in attendance know of Solo's ties, but Meltzer pointed out on Wrestling Observer Radio that announcers are not allowed to acknowledge said relation. The fans there were very animated the whole show, but they were chanting Uso, Uso, Uso at him, which is another one of those things of like where the announcers are not allowed to acknowledge. I mean, it's so weird. Braun Breaker. And it wasn't even Braun Breaker, it was Escobar. I should take that back. It's like you never tell us who the uncle and father are, even though everyone knows. It's the craziest thing. And then Solo, you know, who's the brother of Jimmy and Jay. And the fans are chanting Uso at him. And the announcers, not blaming them, they're not allowed to say what they're not allowed to say. But why are you not allowed to say it? It's just so weird. Ahead of his match against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, Bobby Lashley sat down for the MacMania podcast, first talking about the secrets to his physique and how he keeps himself motivated. I always tell myself this, because I still have the aspirations of throwing some blows from the cage or doing like a bare knuckle fighter or something like that. I still have aspirations of doing something like that before I turn in my gloves, wrestling shoes, and everything like that. So with that being said, I always told my wrestling partners this and training partners this and my coaches and everybody this. Don't let me be out there being an old man in the stuff. That being, you see those fighters past their prime that just want one more fight. And you see them out there, and the last thing you see of them is rickety, trying to throw punches and get knockouts, and it's sad. Guys in the ring that are still trying to do it, and they can't even more. It's sad, because you can remember that person from when they can't do everything. And then it's like Superman with kryptonite, and you're watching a Superman with kryptonite trying to fight back. I don't want to be that guy. Touching on retirement, Lashley, who is 45, gave his expectations expectation as to how long he'll continue wrestling. I know when it's time to say when, but that's the thing. I'm far from there. That's the thing that tripped me out. I'm looking at the years and I'm looking at what I believe I can do, and I'm I don't think I should be wrestling when I'm 50 years old, but I'm feeling so good now. I don't know. If I'm feeling as good as I do now, 2 years from now, there's no reason why I can't. And my appearance also. If my appearance kind of fades, or I can't keep on the weight, or if I can't run with these kids the way they're coming up, I'll take note of that. But right now, like I said, I'm 100%. I think I can run through anybody on the roster right now. In some more Rumble news, Ringside News had another report for fans, writing, "Here's another piece of Royal Rumble news that we were able to confirm today. Shane McMahon will be in the 2022 Royal Rumble. No word on if he has a WrestleMania program, but we wouldn't be surprised on that either." With him set to defend his Universal title at the Rumble, Roman Reigns talked about the possibility of Vince McMahon telling him to drop the title, as he said this on SI Media. "It is hard to just speculate on that. I would have to be in that situation to truly know where I was. I would have to be able to see all the different variables, and be able to see the chain reaction and how it would affect everything. That's such a tricky question. I really would not know how to honestly explain what my mindset would be. I am the man. Yeah, he better listen. You know what I'm saying? He better acknowledge me. Who else is there, right?" In that same interview, Roman would also touch on his symptoms from COVID. For me, obviously in comparison to some of the worst scenarios that are out there and that we've seen through the pandemic, it wasn't bad. For me, it was mainly a pretty good sinus infection, a bronchitis cough, a lot of chest tightness. I still feel that actually. When I'm doing my conditioning, because we don't wrestle quite as much and we're doing a lot of 6-man tag team matches, I don't have singles matches as much as I used to, so I have to continue to really push the conditioning on my own. And I've noticed in the past couple of weeks that when I really blow myself up on the bike or running or whatever I'm doing, I can feel that tightness and a little bit of wheezing. So it's definitely something serious. As someone who was vaccinated and boosted, it still got to me, and I still felt the effects. While they weren't as severe as they can be for some, it did hang around and linger for a while. Taking to Twitter, AEW star CM Punk admitted he's not sure how much time he has left in the ring, as he wrote, "Every day I'm in a ring in front of a live audience is time I never thought I'd have back. I treat every second like it's my last. Not sure how long I have left, but I will leave it all out there. Thanks to everyone who supports." Next week on Dynamite, Punk is slated to face MJF, with this feud continuing to build steam. With rumors going around about WWE bringing in a star from another promotion for the Royal Rumble, many have brought up Jon Moxley's name as a potential candidate. Speaking about this on her podcast, Renee Paquette said, "We don't live that far from St. Louis. We're within driving distance. It would melt people's brains. People would lose their minds. What music does he come out to? Does he get to come out to Wild Thing? He has to, right? You know what? I actually like the Lunatic French music. I actually like that. I thought it was pretty good." And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.